Hello, everybody. It's Chairidee Smith, Miss Mogul, host of Master Your Morning with Miss Mogul, also the CEO of MoguLife Real Estate, as well as the proprietor of The Roar Shop and the author of The Roar of a Woman. So if you've been following me on social media, you've seen that I have quite a lot to celebrate. My daughter just graduated from high school and college simultaneously at the age of 17. So if you'll give me a couple of minutes to just tell you a little bit about her. She graduated Phi Theta Kappa from Community College, which is the honor society for community colleges, as well as National Honor Society from high school, class president, Alpha Ambassador, and that's a leadership role the district selected her for, and held down a part-time job while she was doing that on top of just all the other extracurricular activities that she's been involved in. Well, she's quite a special young lady, and I wanted to give her a gift at graduation. And my daughter and I have had these conversations on and off. When we chose this dual credit program, what would college look like? As a divorced parent, I always knew that I wanted to minimize my debt in educating her and sending her away to college, and I had to be creative in how we approached that. So that's why grades and academics was always the vehicle that we would use to get her in the door with scholarships, etc. And thankfully, she has earned a leadership scholarship to a prestigious HBCU on the East Coast, and I am so excited about that. Well, now it's here. So she's graduated, and upon graduation, I promised my daughter two things. It wasn't a car. Well, it was a car, but we'll talk about that later. But what I promised her were two things. One was the opportunity to evolve as a woman. Secondly, I told her I would give her options. Those were the two graduation gifts that I wanted to give her. And it was always my hope that I would launch her successfully in life. So you may ask, why in the world would you promise your daughter options, and why would you tell her that you wanted to give her an environment to evolve in? Well, if you read my book, The Roar of a Woman, you'll probably understand why that's so important to me. But it's a great segue into this. So with her now graduating from college, community college, so many children and parents, for that matter, enter post education or secondary education in debt. Student loans are just prevalent. If you don't get academic scholarships, or if you don't get grants of some kind because of a financial aid and some other things, most parents and students have to consider loans. I didn't want to do that, and let me give you my backstory why. First of all, I know that student loans are just a noose around your neck. Now, I came from that generation where my parent had to get student loans in order to educate me. It wasn't, I had the grades, had scholarships, but other costs that she did not plan for came into play. And so the only option she had at that time was to take out student loans. Well, fast forward, I'm pursuing my master's degree in business, and what do I look at? Loans. Unfortunately, student loans have been just the bane of my existence, and I'm sure many of you will agree and testify to that. If you are behind in student loans, by the way, so let me put on my real estate investor educator hat. If you have outstanding student loan debt, you can't get a home. It makes it difficult if you have a home to refinance it. If you're wanting to buy a home as a first-time home buyer and you have delinquent student debt, you cannot get a loan to buy a home. So that's changing your lifestyle. It's dictating where you live, how you live, the quality of life you can afford to have behind student loan debt. I knew from my research in studying generational wealth and how we educated ourselves and took care of ourselves generationally that student loan debt was just off the table as far as I was concerned. So how am I going to get this brilliant young future mechanical engineer and material scientist through school, help her get her undergraduate degree? Because I promised her that as a little girl. I'll help you get your undergraduate degree, that master's degree and doctorate, that's on your watch. But on my watch, you're going to get that undergraduate degree minimally. How am I going to do that, though, as a divorced parent? So here is where I could have sung Kumbaya or had a pity party, but I've never been that chick. never been her at all. I made my child a promise and I wanted to keep my word. And so I looked at real estate as the vehicle to do that. Now, how am I going to give her options? How am I going to give her an environment to involve in as a woman using real estate? I told her, and I know this from personal experience, if you don't have the dead weight of debt, you have more options. I don't want to launch you in life $80,000 in debt before you get your first job. That's not how you build wealth. I'm not going to do that to you. So I have to find a way to do this creatively. I looked at real estate, and so I considered investing just to send her to school. Why not? Give real estate a purpose. Now, how am I going to do that? I'm not a big fan of mortgages and loans, and here is why. And you all are going to think that I'm being quirky, but there's so much meaning in a word, right? I looked at mortgage and I looked at mortuary, and if you do a word study, the Latin root of both, they have the same root, M-O-R-T, and it means death. So a mortgage could be financial death, just like mortuary is where you hold dead people, dead things. Now, I'm not going to go into that school of thought because there is a reason and there's a purpose for debt. There is a reason for having mortgages. They serve their purpose. But for this, I wanted to minimize debt and give her assets. Assets are what will dictate her options in life, not her job, not her career. It's her assets. And in my conversation with my daughter, I promised her, hey, engineering is your passion, not mine whatsoever. But she will be the first engineer in my family. I'm college educated, but in liberal arts. She wanted to choose the sciences, so she has an aptitude for it. Fantastic. You become the first engineer, but if ever you decide that you don't want to be an engineer, if ever you decide that you need time to breathe, if ever you decide you're asked to do something unethical in your opinion on your job and you have to walk away, you don't stop living, you don't stop eating, your quality of life does not change. You have what? Enter options. That's what I wanted to give her. So I looked at real estate and I said, this is what I'll do. I'll purchase an investment property or two, rehab it, and just hold it and cash flow it. What does that do for my daughter? What does that do for me? One, I have excellent tax benefits, right? Now I have the power of leverage because I now have an asset and I have cash flow as well. I can leverage both of them to help her get through school, minimizing her debt footprint, helping me out with tax breaks, giving me leverage in acquiring other properties. So many benefits to that. And also, she doesn't have to live on ramen noodles away from home, right? And I don't have to get in crazy credit card debt. She doesn't have to take on credit card debt, trying to educate herself and live. So this is what I've done. I'm pursuing now a couple of investment properties just for that. And so within the next 2 years, those properties, and the way I'm going to purchase them, and this is what's important too, the way I'll purchase them, I won't take out a mortgage. And there are several ways to do that. And if you're interested in learning those strategies, please inbox me and I'd be happy to have a consultation with you about that. But I'm going to acquire these properties without debt. So that means I'll have a clear title, clear deed. It's an asset that I'll own outright. I'll rehab it. I'll put it more than likely on Section 8 because I just don't want to have to worry about it. It'll cash flow, and I'm able to put money in her pocket, in her account while she's away at school. I have an asset. When she graduates from college in about 2 years, look at what she has. She can move into that property if she wants to and begin living in that property mortgage-free. When she graduates at 19, she'll own her first home mortgage-free, or she can buy a condo on the East Coast, wherever she is, cash flow this investment property down here, and when she goes to graduate school, and she's going, she can use that income again to not worry about expenses and fully pursue her degree. So what did I give her? I gave her options in how she's going to launch in life because she's not launching with debt. I'm giving her the environment to evolve as a woman. So now, without having to take on a job waitressing or some job that's going to stress you out while you're pursuing your education, she can fully focus on that, give her whole being to whatever that pursuit is, and then explore wherever it goes and not worry about food, clothing, shelter, those necessities of life, because mommy had the forethought to already take care of that for her. So I'm giving you options. I'm giving you the ability to evolve as a woman by using the vehicle of real estate. And so I was thinking about too, so let's just expand this. So when my daughter graduates from college with her master's degree, probably by the age of 23, I don't know what the real estate cycle will be. I'm looking at it now and I'm projecting that it may take a dip. There has been some slowing in markets. And so we don't know quite yet where it will be in, say, 4 to 5 years, but I have my projections. And so what I'm doing now is buying real estate and beginning to maneuver through my portfolio to offset what I believe the trend will be, or to capitalize on what that trend will be in the next 5 years. Here is what I'm giving her. I'm giving her now the ability, and you've seen my hashtag, to create her own economy. So she'll graduate with her degree. I don't know how long it'll take her to get a job, but we're looking at, we're talking to private industry even now. Hopefully that when she graduates from college, she won't have a lag in employment while pursuing a job. But if she does, she's a real estate investor. She's earning an income. She has a wage. She has assets. She has the ability to leverage and expand her own portfolio. I'm giving her now the ability to create her own economy, not depend on the job market, not depend upon the market at all, because I'm teaching her about inflation, deflation, how to appreciate a property, why we do that, why we depreciate the value of a property. Everything has its place. I'm teaching her those things now so that she understands how economy works, so she can create her own economy, so she can hashtag make mogul moves on her own. And this is what it gives her as well. I'm thinking about, for me, I'll just go personally. For me, I stayed in a marriage for a long time because of economics. Now, before you throw tomatoes at the screen, so many women stay in marriages that have gone south because they have children who are dependent. They are not prepared to transition their lifestyle in another direction with that loss of income from the spouse. And so they're trying to wait out the bad times, hoping things will get better, but also trying to buy themselves time to get some more economic leverage. I'm taking that away. So when my daughter now decides it's time for her, through the leading of God and her mama, to get married, and the young man approaches her, she's now going to come into that relationship with a different perspective and paradigm. She'll be there because she wants to be there and because she loves him, and not because she needs rescue. And you all have heard me say it so many times in my videos. Rescues are for women without strategies. My daughter won't be named among those women without a strategy. She'll have the benefit of my hard knocks life, my hard-won experience, and I'll give that to her so that she can now leverage herself in life. Now, what did I just give my future son-in-law? I gave him the opportunity to love my wife love his wife. Woo, not my wife. Hello. To love his wife, my daughter, without pulling her as dead weight. So he doesn't see her now as a project that he has to rescue, but he sees her now as a partner, as an equal, as a woman, Proverbs 31, who can bring him accolades in the marketplace. How awesome would it be for my future son-in-law to say, hey, my mom-in-law was looking out for me as well. She prepared my wife economically. She prepared my wife by giving her assets, not liabilities, income, not all of these other things that can take away from a marriage. So many marriages break apart, you all. Infidelity is number 2. But number 1, finances, you guessed it. Number 1 reason why marriages and families break up, because there isn't a strong direction, roadmap, strategy for economic living. If you look at my social media, you'll hear me say oftentimes that your family is your first small business. I am employing that mantra to infinity and beyond by preparing my daughter with real estate, not just with real estate, but with the knowledge of how to leverage real estate, and that will go on into other parts of her life. So in closing, I just want to admonish you, particularly moms out there who are looking for opportunities to send your children to college or to expand your life, and you think that loans or debt are the only way for you to get ahead. Knowledge is power. Knowledge, not necessarily money. Money answers all things according to the Bible, yes, but it's the knowledge you have. You don't have to have millions in order to make millions, but you do have to have knowledge and information and know how to leverage to get started. So if you're looking at a way, and this is for moms and dads, to send your child to college, don't go and take money out of your 401k or take money out of your investments just for the sake of taking money out to educate your child. You won't get a rate of return on that. But if you take that money out of a self-directed IRA or out of your retirement plan or out of your savings and you buy a property cash, in this case, I recommend that, without any liens, without any debt, and you begin to leverage that property with a clean deed, a clean title, and generate income, you can not only feed your retirement fund with that, but now you have an asset that you can give to your son or daughter that will generate income for them. They're learning the basics of economy. They're learning money management. They're learning strategies. They're learning how to think independently about their wherewithal economically, and it changes now how they show up in life. So they're not knocking on doors as soon as they graduate from college, begging for a job. Hey, they're not out there doing this song and dance in a very populated landscape. Please hire me. Please see my worth. Please pay me an hourly wage. I'll give you my time and my life in exchange for $1. Absolutely not. I won't give you my time in exchange for $1. My time is too valuable. So now they show up in life with a different perspective, with a different posture, with a different mindset, and it makes all the difference in the world. So if you really want to create legacy, if you really want to create an environment that your family can thrive in, I admonish you to start thinking now about your family as a small business. Don't take your days and your time haphazardly. Get a strategy, get a plan. And by the way, some of you know I have a 9-year-old son. I'm employing these strategies for him now. Yeah, there's a big gap between my kids, but we'll talk about that later. Read the book and you'll understand why. The Roar of a Woman. You can get it on Amazon or you can go to Chairidee.com. Just a quick shameless plug there. But I'm employing these strategies for him because now he has the best asset of all. He has time. I'm a little older. I don't have the luxury of time, so I have to move a little bit more aggressively when it comes to my retirement. But as far as my son is concerned, I can buy those properties now. They'll appreciate in value while they're cash flowing. By the time he's 15, Mr. will be a mogul all on his own, and that'll be a whole nother video, honey. But anyway, wanted to talk to you all about now future planning strategies. You can do this. You just need a plan, you need information, you need strategy, and you need to make the decision to execute it. So I'm going to make good on my promise to both of my children eventually, but definitely to my daughter. I'm going to give her the opportunity to evolve as a woman. I'm going to give her options by removing debt from her life off the bat. So hope you got something from this video. Like, subscribe, please share it. If you have comments, if you have questions, post them at the bottom in the comment section of this video, and more is to come. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.